This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Skip Monty.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Good Neighbor Podcast of the Tri-Cities in Western North Carolina. So we are thrilled to have a very special guest in the studio with us today, and I'm sure you'll be just as excited to learn all about them and what they do. And because today I have the pleasure of introducing your good neighbor, Miss Emily Smith, who is the owner-operator of Solbody Movement and Myofacial Bodywork. Emily, welcome.
Hi, Skip. Hey, neighbors. I'm thrilled to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Well, we're thrilled to have you. And like I said, super excited to learn all about what you do. So if you don't mind, why don't you kick us off by telling us about your business?
Okay. I am a myofacial release therapist and movement and fascial care coach with expert level training in John F. Barnes' myofacial release approach. I'm a functional Pilates instructor certified through the Physical Mind Institute, and I've completed other teacher trainings in Qigong and Yin Yoga. And I have a license in massage therapy and bodywork. My primary practice is offering myofascial release as a manual therapy and incorporating movement practice into sessions that help restore the body's ability to heal on its own through movement and touch. I'm here to help humanity. I'm here to teach humanity how to remember to understand the universal languages of movement and touch as keys to unlock the codes to longevity and health within every body.
Very cool. Very cool. That's a lot. That you do
That is a lot.
Pilates,
It's
you're
a
a therapist.
mouthful.
It is. It is. How did you get started in this business, Emily?
I probably have to go all the way back in time to being very young when I began moving for joy, for pleasure. I can remember moving to music on our Oriental rug in our living room and then rehearsing what I was then going to perform for my mom in the kitchen. And I have that memory prior to having gone to any dance classes. So I can recollect that movement was a language that I used for self-expression before I was taught how to dance. I started taking dance classes, I think, around 5, and I danced my way through college, mostly ballet before college, and then I explored modern and African and contact improv in college. And through that time, that's when I learned Pilates. Actually, my ballet teacher at Penn State had gone to New York for the weekend and came back with these really cool exercises that we did on the floor prior to our bar. And we did that in a regular way. And I remember feeling the difference. So that was my introduction to Pilates. And then years after, I found it again. And so dance led me to Pilates. Pilates became my career soon after college. And I studied and taught Pilates for over 10 years in Colorado. And then when I moved back to my hometown area in Pennsylvania in 2010 was when I found myofascial release as a patient. And my chronic pain began when I was 18. And I can recall it was when I was dancing again in college and dancing ballet. And I was diagnosed as IT band syndrome, but I got off the couch one night and my leg just kind of slipped out from underneath me and I fell. And that's what I can remember, the beginning of feeling tension, pain in my body. And my dad sent me to his chiropractor. And I remember him saying, this is maybe going to happen like once a year. It's just, this is what it is to get old. And, you know, you use your body well, then it's going to end up breaking down. And I don't know, I kind of thought that was bull. But I don't know that I want to believe that, Dad. And so anyhow, I lived with symptoms that would move around all over, and it kind of came and went. That I'm kind of tracing back to time of like when I was cleaning houses for a living and doing a lot of gardening in my 20s. I remember having back pain then, and I can recall the movement patterns that I was using, and it makes sense to me why I was in pain. So I found myofascial release as a patient, and I really had explored, I won't say all therapies, but a lot of different modalities, and they all seem to help. Some hurt, so I don't know how much those helped in the way that I was seeking for them to, because they hurt while they were happening, and afterwards I would feel worse. But I explored a lot of different modalities in the time that I was teaching Pilates, and I had not yet received myofascial release, and definitely not from a therapist trained by John Barnes until I moved back to Pennsylvania. And that was in 2010, 2011. And I met him in 2012 when I took my first course. And that was before I had become a licensed massage therapist. The class I began with is one that is currently offered to anyone. John Barnes has a whole seminar series of coursework in myofascial release that is geared towards healthcare professionals. But there is one class that anyone can take, and that was the first course that I started with, called the Healing Seminar. I thought that we were going to be rolling around on foam rollers and balls, like myofascial release balls, that weekend, because that's what I had known since I began receiving the therapy. That the day one, my therapist taught me how to treat myself. I could assimilate that to brushing our teeth. And this is really something that I have to credit John for, that was something different that I hadn't really experienced in a way as powerfully, because it worked. And then I realized that I had the power within myself and the ability to do this on my own. And so I began that practice of self-treating daily, using a small inflatable ball, foam rollers. Now I use the couch. I use a chair, I use the floor, I use the bed, and I help others to do this too. So now my practice includes online work as well. So I host sessions at a studio space in Black Mountain, and I am soon to be opening a commercial space in Swannanoa. Nice. So that is coming soon. Yay.
Very cool. Very cool. Well,
Yeah, thanks.
This is really fascinating. What are some myths or misconceptions in the myofascial bodywork movement industry?
Okay. I'm going to try and keep this one really simple.
Okay.
Nobody taught us how to move. No one taught us how to breathe, crawl, nor walk. Movement's a universal language. And when we remember the patterns and original moves that we all taught ourselves, we unlock the codes, the keys to longevity. So I consider movement in a very different way than I did when I was teaching exercises. I got into the best shape of my life when I stopped exercising. There's more to what we can do daily than what we were taught. So universally, we were all taught how to brush and floss our teeth. This is the fascial system on the outside of our body, bones that we can actually see. The soft tissue surrounding the bones is not separate. We could all recall what it felt like to pull a tooth out when we were kids. This is a view into what it looks like inside our entire body. So the void that I see in that is, we were taught how to care for this daily. What about the rest of it? And I feel like we all really have heard the message loud and clear that we need to stretch and we need to strengthen. The missing ingredient I would love everyone to know is we need to soften.
Soften.
So, and considering that babies are born with this sensory intelligence that our mothers, our family members don't teach it to us. And it's universal in that a deadlift is a deadlift. Whether you've got a diaper on at 1 year old or 100, it's the same movement pattern of how our body is designed to functionally carry its own weight. To change levels, to change location, we're all here to walk. If we have the gift of having 2 souls, 2 feet, 2 legs, we all can carry ourselves with ease on the earth. That's what we're here to do. So exercise, in my mind, isn't necessary when we can create the awareness of moving in the ways we were designed to move daily. The issue these days, though, is that we're not moving.
Yep.
And so that's what leads us to myofascial release. Myofascial release therapy is a way to erase tissue memory. Releasing fascial restrictions is what unlocks the codes for the body to heal itself. So now I feel like I have to describe what is fascia, because I'm aware that there's still many people out there who still don't know the word or don't understand the word. And I would love to dispel some of those myths and create the awareness to educate those who haven't yet heard this. Can I break that down?
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay. So myo is the prefix for the word muscle in science. And fascia is the seamless web within, connecting, protecting, supporting, transporting, and distributing all force, nourishment, nutrients, air, water, blood, energy, emotions, everything that's moving within our body is connected through fascia. So it is a web-like material. I consider it being the fabric within that's connecting everything alive on the earth. Gravity's holding us down. Fascia is what's holding us up.
Very cool.
We often, it's like there's no shame in not knowing the word. It's not our fault. We weren't taught. We weren't told, because the truth of it is that it was discarded in the trash when science dissected bodies for our anatomy books. And all the information that we have in those books was without the information that this part of our body holds. So it makes sense to me how that understanding this part of our body could be filling in the gaps of the missing pieces of the information that we yet to have heard or learned to help us get out of pain, to move out of pain, to move into pleasure.
Fascinating. Thank you for breaking that down. That's
Thank you. I hope
something
that was simple.
Absolutely it was. If I can understand it, it definitely was. So, well, Emily, it sounds like you work a lot. If there is time, what do you like to do for fun?
So these days, my new favorite love since last year are eddies. Rafting has been such a joy to experience, and I hadn't until last year. And moving on water is such a pleasure and thrill, really. It's fascinating, and I like to say fascinating, in that feeling the way that water moves in the river and how we can go with the flow. Literally, it's such a correlation to the work that I do. And I love to garden. Gardening is definitely a passion, and honestly, it feels like a way of life to me. In the garden as much as possible these days. And I love to
Same.
dance, live music. There's so many fun things to do here in North Carolina. It's endless, but yeah, being in nature.
Absolutely. You're in a beautiful place for that. We both are.
We are.
Absolutely love it.
Mm.
Well, Emily, if you could think of one thing that you would like our listeners to remember about you and about soul body movement and Myofacial Bodywork, what would that be? One big thing.
That everybody is invited to have the experience, and that if you haven't yet experienced myofascial release or you haven't heard about it, I'm glad that you do now, so that it's a way to create a life that we may not have been able to experience. Living in pain.
Oh, you froze up on me there for a second.
Hi.
Here we go. We got you back.
Oh, okay, cool. So yeah, living in pain isn't natural. Pain is not our natural state. Love is. So if you haven't tried myofascial release, give it a try.
Definitely. I'm intrigued.
I'm happy to help anybody here who's interested, and welcome you to schedule a consultation, a complimentary consultation. And that's available through my website, which is emily-smith.com, where we can get online and do a video or a call, and happy to share more information, answer questions, and yeah, go ahead.
Cool. So you do both in person and virtual consultations?
Yes, in person and online. And
awesome.
Treatment too, that I work with folks in coaching online, so that you can do this in the comfort of your home. And that really, I think, the state-dependent memory of having that practice of, apparently we brush our teeth differently when we're on vacation. That we do it the same. I've heard this as a research, that you do it the same way when you're at home. So we can consider that of, we can change our movement patterns really easily. Try brushing your teeth with your opposite hand. Wow. We can change the way that we move, and picking things up from the ground. It's awareness that makes the difference.
Awesome. Well, Emily, yeah. I can't tell you how fascinating this has been, and really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to tell our listeners all about you and what you do and what Myofacial Bodywork is. So thank you for that. And moving forward, wish you, your family, your business, all the best.
Thank you.
And maybe we can have you back sometime to delve a little deeper.
Thanks, Gil.
All right. Thank you. Have a good rest of the day.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnptry-cities.com. That's gnptry-cities.com, or call 423-719-5873.